sports.
We are the sports. We are Houston.
Will the 2011 season be remembered as the year the next generation of Astros dawned? Young players receiving invaluable major league experience. The future began this year, and tonight the Houston Astros 2011 campaign reaches its finale. Houston Astros baseball is next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's the regular season finale for the Houston Astros, maybe not for the St. Louis Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. Most teams are going on vacation, as the Astros are, but the Cardinals would love to play a little bit more this year, JD.
Yeah, depending on how things shake out, this could be the night for the St. Louis Cardinals, or they could play the Braves in a one-game playoff tomorrow in St. Louis. So a lot riding for the Cardinals, and Tony La Russa able to handle the ball to Chris Carpenter. What a great option to have. One of the better veteran pitchers in all of baseball. He's been on a nice roll of late. Carpenter with a 1.45 ERA over his last 4 starts. Career against the Astros, 7-5 in 18 starts. And speaking of hot pitchers, how about Brett Myers? He goes for the Astros tonight. His last 4, he's won them all with a 123 earned run average.
Coming up from Minute Maid Park, the faces you've been watching over the course of this evolving season will be changing now, and new faces will be moving in 2012. Who's going to do well in this finale of 2011? We'll find out in just a moment.
On the line for the St. Louis Cardinals as they take on the Astros here in Minute Maid Park, the final game of the 2011 season for Houston. It may or may not be for the Cardinals. That will be determined after 9 innings. We hope only 9 this evening. Brett Myers, pretty good start for the Astros the way he's been pitching. He's on the mound, and Bill Brown and Jim DeShays are up in the booth. They'll be calling this finale, guys.
Thank you, Greg. A much anticipated game with a lot riding on it. Here's the starting lineup for Tony La Russa's Redbirds. John Jay in center field. Alan Craig in left field. Matt Holliday left with a hand injury last night. Albert Pujols at first base. Lance Berkman in right field. David Freese at third base. The catcher's Yadier Molina. With at second base, Skip Schumacher. At shortstop, Nick Punto. And the pitcher, Chris Carpenter.
Now Brett Myers takes the mound for the final time in 2011. It's been a year in which he's really turned things around. Look what happened in July and August. 11 games. He was 0-6 with an ERA above 5. But in 4 September starts, 4-0 with a 123. And defensively, it's Martinez, Shuck, Bogus, Sevic. And all rookie outfield. Paredes, Barmas, Altuve, Lee cover the infield. Alberto Quintero is behind the plate.
It's John Jay in the batter's box, ready to get it started. Myers delivers, and there's strike one. Kerwin Danley calls it behind the plate. Jay has 3 hits in 8 at-bats in this series. 297 for the season. 10 homers. He's driven in 37. He scored 55. Hits that one near the left field line, and JD Martinez comes over. It's a foul ball. Martinez back in that lineup with a sore foot after fouling a ball off his foot in the first game of the series.
Jay misses an opening double by just that much.
Jay leading off again tonight as he did last night when he had a sac fly and a single, and he was the number 8 hitter Monday night when he had 2 hits. 1-2. Myers is 6-5 in his career against St. Louis with a 4.54 ERA for 19 games. This season he has lost both of his starts to the Cardinals.
First 2 games of this series, the Cardinals were able to look at that scoreboard and see that the Braves were trailing the Phillies early on. Not the case tonight. Atlanta just scored 2 in the bottom of the 3rd, and they lead the Phillies 3-1. Dan Uggla. Talk about a comeback year. My goodness.
There's a shot off the glove of Jimmy Paredes, and no play. Paredes diving to his left. Got his glove on it on the short hop, but then it trickled away over toward Clint Barmas, and it's a single for Jay.
Again, Jay looking to shoot the ball the other way, trying to slice one through that hole. Paredes able to slap a little leather on it, but not control it. And the leadoff man reaches for the Cardinals. This team does not do a lot of running. Jay is not a good base stealer.
Strike one to Alan Craig.
They just have a bunch of really good hitters in their lineup. They prefer not to take chances on the bases, just swing away.
Craig was among the productive players who came off the bench last night for St. Louis. Was he ever? With a double and a 3-run homer in their come from behind win. Taking over in left field for the injured Matt Holliday. Left after 1 at bat last night. He's been having problems with the tendon near the base of the middle finger on his right hand. 1 ball, 1 strike. Craig 5 for 12 against Houston with 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. Third ball is blocked by Quintero. It's a 2-1 count. Myers has really been something, giving up 1 earned run in each of his last 5 starts. For the month of September, a 4-0 record, a 1.23 ERA for 4 starts. Runner going, and it's fouled. Craig, with that pitch in on him, was able to get some wood to it, but couldn't do much with it with Jay on the move. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that's the Cardinals because they don't have a lot of team speed. They're more likely to play a little hit and run than straight steal, and that's what Tony La Russa had on their 2 ball, 1 strike count. They're counting on Myers being around the plate and Craig able to put the ball in play, but very difficult to do anything with that ball moving up and in on him.
Bouncer, Paredes to his left, on through into left field. He tried to slide and play it, and it bounced over his glove for a Craig single, and it's 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Paredes having difficulty on 2 plays to his left so far.
Yeah, he has a tendency to want to retreat on balls like that. He tends to end up having to deal with a very difficult hop. They're trying to get him to be more aggressive and just come hard on balls chopped like that out in front of home plate.
Albert Pujols comes up. A 300 batting average for Pujols, 37 homers. He's driven in 98 with a 910 OPS. He got hit on the right elbow when he swung at a pitch last night. Here's ball one to Pujols. Albert's 3 for 11 in this series. Foul back.
He's been pressing a little bit. He's been chasing some bad balls. And I think he feels a lot of pressure to be the guy for the Cardinals as they wind down their season with a chance to claim the wild card. He's shown it. He's gone out of his zone chasing bad balls, including that one that hit him. You know, guy's pressing a little bit when he swings at a ball that ultimately hits him.
Broken bat looper going toward the seats. And that bat have to be replaced. It's 1-2.
Another example there of Albert going after a ball well out of the strike zone.
He's grounded into 29 double plays to lead the National League.
And Myers, who relies so heavily on his curveball, good to see him work hard in on these right-handed hitters too. That'll open things up a little bit for that breaking ball, theoretically anyway.
There it is. It's tap foul. Pujols, a .354 career hitter against Myers, has 4 home runs off Brett. .29 double play balls, 22% of the time he's had an opportunity. He's grounded into one. A good battle here continues with a 1-2 count. Pujols has 42 career homers against the Astros, driving in 111 with a .312 lifetime batting average.
I like the way Myers is working at fastballs in off the plate. You can't live in there because he'll make an adjustment. But I think he's better outer third than he is on the inside part of the plate.
Curveball line to left field and going back on it. Martinez, it's off the wall. Jay coming around third to score. Throw into third to Paredes, not in time. And it's an RBI single to make it 1-0 Cardinals on 3 straight hits to open the game. And Pujols looks fired up as he gestures toward his teammates' bench.
And this time the curveball stays up in the zone and Albert really gets through it. Well played out here by J.D. Martinez. Jay comes around to score. If the throw is on the money at third, they might have a shot at Allen Craig, but the throw a little bit offline.
Former Astro Lance Berkman. Pujols at first and Craig at third and nobody out. Has a .302 batting average, 31 homers, 93 runs batted in, .413 on base average for Berkman.
Two things that plagued Brett Myers much of this year: home run balls and first inning troubles. Lately that has not been the case. His 4 starts in September, he's allowed just the 1 home run.
Berkman's 4 for 8 in this series. Had 3 hits and scored 3 runs last night. Comes that one foul. It's 1-1. Lance, a 174 career hitter against Myers. Lance had a big 2-run double in the 8th inning Monday night to tie the game. He is second in the league in batting average with runners in scoring position. Hitting .485 this season at Minute Maid Park. Career .307 hitter here. 2 balls and a strike to Berkman. Lance has had a big time season against Astros pitching. 5 homers, 14 runs batted in. And it all started on the Cardinals' first trip to this ballpark. He's the all-time leader in many offensive categories. among hitters in this ballpark. And nails that one to right field to make it 2-0 Redbirds. Craig with the run scored, and here's the throw to third base. Pujols in head first, and he beats the Bogusevic throw. Bogusevic threw out 2 runners last night. Didn't quite get Pujols this time, and it's 4 straight Cardinal hits. Berkman gets his 94th run batted in.
That last 2 balls really well struck by first Pujols and now Berkman. And this is a bit of an ill-advised play by Pujols with nobody out to go to third base here. He got away with it, but awfully close. And you don't want to make that first out at third base. If this throws on the money, he's probably out.
Dana DeMuth on the call. Pujols slapping 5 with Jose Oquendo. Bogusevic picked up 2 more outfield assists last night, giving him 9 for the season, and that's in limited play.
Oh my, did he have a game last night? Great at bats, hit the ball very well, and 2 very good plays in the outfield. Sparkling throws.
Berkman has his lead. David Freese the batter. There's strike 1 to Freese, a .295 hitter with 10 homers, 54 runs batted in. David was born in Corpus Christi. He is 2 for 7 in this series. Fly ball deep left field. Martinez watching it sail over his head and banging off the bullpen wall. Pujols will score easily. Berkman to third. Into second base with an RBI double. Freese.
Mulligan.
Wow. Cardinals come out firing with 5 straight hits and 3 runs home.
Reminiscent of the game the Astros had against the Rockies when they had 6 straight hits to start the ball game. He pulls it a little bit more. He's got a home run, but fortunately for the Astros, stays in play. But second and third, nobody out.
Yadier Molina fouls it away. There's strike 1 to Molina. 306, 14 homers, 65 runs batted in. Molina's 3 for 6 in this series. And he's drawn 4 walks in the 2 games. Doing a very good offensive year. Infielders creeping in. Strike to Molina makes it 0-2. Runners at second and third, nobody out. The Cardinals, a very potent offensive team, lead the league in runs scored. They lead in total bases, in on base average, and in slugging percentage. They've run up some big scores this year. Still 0-2 with Skip Schumacher on deck.
Yeah, you better have your A game when you go to the bump against this club, or you're asking for trouble.
Myers has had it rolling recently. He's not had troubles like this for a while.
5 consecutive starts of allowing exactly 1 earned run.
Off the plate, it's 1-2. Myers leads the club in starts. This is number 33 for Brad Mills' Astros this year for Brett. In his Astros career, he's gone 6 innings or more in 60 of his 65 starts. Little roller, third base. Beretta's coming in, juggles it a little bit, throws and gets him. 1 out. Skip Schumacher will follow.
Really nowhere for Berkman to go. He could have come down the line a little bit further, trailing Paredes, and then bolted for home as soon as he made that throw. But this is the first out of the inning. No sense being too daring down there. If you're a real speed guy, certainly could see him trying it.
Schumacher tops 1 foul. There's strike 1 to Skip. 284, 2 homers, 36 runs batted in for Schumacher. Schumacher 1 for 4 with 3 runs batted in this series. Bouncer off the glove of Myers, and that'll allow Berkman to score to make it 4-0. Myers reaching for it, deflecting it, and slowing it down. Well, Schumacher winds up with a single and an RBI, his 37th of the year.
Yeah, Berkman moving on contact there, so even if Myers doesn't get a piece of it and deflect it, he's going to score on that ball. And a lot of times we question the judgment of a pitcher trying to make a play on a ball hit up the middle. Well, with your infield pulled in, or at least part way, would have been difficult for Barmers to make a play on that ball. Certainly not at home. Might have been able to get it out at first base, but he wasn't going to get Berkman at home, who was moving on contact.
Now Nick Punto with runners at first and third and one out. He's had a big series. There's strike one to Punto. 277, one homer, 19 runs batted in. 4 for 6 with a homer and 2 runs batted in this series. Hit his first homer of the year last night. Also added 2 singles and a double, playing for the injured Rafael Furcal at short.
You know, the Braves are at home today, and if I were running that operation, I don't know that I would put this score on the board right off. The Cardinals have scored 4 in the first. I wouldn't want my guys thinking about that.
Not a confidence builder. Fouled away, and Chris Carpenter hasn't thrown a pitch yet and leads 4-0.
Yeah, there's the research to do. How many times has Chris Carpenter been handed a lead of 4 or more in the first inning and not won the ball game?
Ooh.
I'm going to guess 2% of the time, maybe, if that. I mean, it can't happen.
Punto looks at a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes to him. Carpenter's on deck.
Punto hit his first home run of the year here last night.
It was a no-doubter. Cardinals have won 15 of their last 20. They were 10.5 games back August 25th. Only 3 teams have become the wild card after being that far back. Houston did it in 05. The Astros were 11.5 back. Now it's the full count. Florida did it in 03 from an 11.5 game deficit, and Oakland did it in 01, trailing by 10. Pujols and company built a very nice start for Carpenter. Cardinals did a lot of hitting last night, winning 13-6, banging out 17 hits. The Astros took the Monday night game in 10, 5-4. Cardinals got 12 hits in that one. Runner going. There's a slicing line drive near the left field line, going foul. Well, Punto hasn't played much at shortstop. This is start number 6 of the year for him, but Furcal left with a hamstring injury Monday night. If the Cardinals win and Atlanta wins, it's a 1-game playoff in St. Louis tomorrow. Or if they both lose, same thing.
Who are the pitchers?
It's going to be Loesch for St. Louis. Runner going. There's a line drive hit to left field to make it 5-0. Punto with an RBI single, giving him 20 runs batted in, scoring frees and moving Schumacher to second.
Nothing cooking in the Astros bullpen just yet, but well, see if he can finish off Carpenter here. But I suspect somebody will start to toss here.
There are extra pitchers available. Starting pitchers.
There's Jamie Quirk to the phone.
Now Carpenter around to bond. He puts it down foul. There's strike one as the 9th batter here with 1 out. Doug Brocale on that phone. Jay Happ started Saturday against Colorado, and he is available in relief tonight. But there's a full complement of pitchers available. Carpenter, 149 hitter with 4 runs batted in. And Ariel Del Rosario is getting up right now. Snap throw to second, and diving back in at Schumacher. 1-1. Del Rosario, of course, can warm up a lot faster than a starting pitcher, and he's a sinker ball specialist, so he would be more attuned to coming into a situation like this if the Astros need somebody. But if they should have to pull Myers from this game early, they might be warming up somebody who has been in the rotation, because the bullpen has been worked pretty hard lately. Mark Melancon is back tonight. Carpenter fouls that and strikes out. 2 down. And now John Jay, who started it all with that infield hit.
Carpenter's body language during that sacrifice attempt was almost like of a man who just felt guilty for all the run support he's getting. Gee, I don't really want to pile on and put down a good bunt here.
He was pretty mad when he didn't get it down.
He's a feisty guy, good competitor.
Crack bat roller. Altuve on over to lead. And the Redbirds send 10 men to the plate in a 5-run first. They give Carpenter an early 5-0 advantage. Let's get their first at bat of the night. Here's the way the lineup card looks for Brad Mills. J.B. Shuck leading it off. Jose Altuve at second. J.D. Martinez in left. Carlos Lee at first. Brian Bogasevic in right field with Shuck in center. Then it's Jimmy Paredes at third. Clint Barmas at short. Humberto Quintero the catcher. And Brett Myers the pitcher.
It's been a bit of an up and down year for Chris Carpenter, but very good of late. Overall 10-9, 3.59 ERA through 33 starts. Punched out 180, allowed 16 home runs, and the league bats .270 against him. It's the highest batting average against him since '02.
Shuck first man up, and he takes it. There is strike one. 273 for JB. No homers. He's driven in 3. Carpenter 7-5 lifetime against Houston. Tough luck 7-5 as he throws strike 2 because his ERA has been 2.79 lifetime against the Astros. Chris, 36 years old, from Exeter, New Hampshire. Fly ball goes out to right center. Lance Berkman moving for it. 1 out for Carpenter.
The Cardinals not a great defensive club, and here's how they set up tonight. Alan Craig, John Jay, Lance Berkman, Freeze, Pinto, Shoemaker, Marker, Pujols, Molina behind the plate. A lot of first names in the outfield. John Jay, Alan Craig.
Yeah. Jose Altuve has had 199 professional hits this year. There's strike one. His manager Brad Mills would love to see him get number 200 tonight. 275, 2 homers, 12 runs batted in. 60 of those hits have come for the Astros.
Quite often up there first ball swinging, but this time he takes strike one, and now 1-1. As a matter of fact, he among players in Major League Baseball who have had at least 100 at-bats this year. He sees the fewest amount of pitches per plate appearance.
Short hop play by Punto. 2 out for Carpenter. Carpenter got a no decision against the Cubs in his last start, giving up 1 run in 7 innings. In his last 18 starts, he's 9-2 with a 2.92 ERA.
He's just a tough guy to beat when handed a lead like this. He's not going to walk people.
J.D. Martinez 1 for 3 in this series, fouls it for strike 1. 279 for the season, 6 homers, 35 runs batted in. He has started 52 of the final 54 games, but left the game with a left foot contusion Monday after fouling that ball off his foot. Sat out last night. There's a strike, and it's 0-2.
You talk about Carpenter yielding that 270 batting average up significantly over recent seasons, highest since 2002. His line drive percentage is up a little bit. He's not getting as many ground balls as normal. I'm talking about for the whole season. Recent starts, he appears to be back in top form.
2-2. The curveball went awry for him. It's been a nice pitch for him in the past, but some observers think that he became enamored with his cutter, the cut fastball, and not so much with the curveball earlier this year. Now things have changed. And he was slumping earlier this season. He gets a strikeout and breezes through the first inning in 1-2-3 fashion. 5-0 Redbirds after 1.
The 2012 season marks the Astros' 50th anniversary, presented by the Methodist Hospital System. All season long, the Astros will celebrate a half-century of baseball with great events, promotions, and more. Come to be part of the celebration. Visit Astros.com for details. As you know, Milo Hamilton and Gene Elston have been honored by the Hall of Fame with the Frick Award. Well, Brett Dolan is going to have a piece of history at the Hall of Fame. That page, or in fact his old scorebook, representing the 200,000th Major League game that was played last Saturday, the Astros and Colorado Rockies. His scorebook is going to the Hall of Fame.
Wow. It's a big thrill. Alan Craig takes strike 1. He singled to left field in the first inning.
It's kind of neat.
Bet it is. Craig swings and misses there and falls behind 0-2. And throughout the evening, we'll be mentioning those compatriots of ours who bring you these telecasts throughout the season from Minute Maid Park. Astros Live produced by Jeff Lillicotch, John Kelly. John also producing Astros Insider. They're a big part of the team. That's a strikeout, out number 1. Myers, his second strikeout.
Talked about Meyer's first innings problems, and it wasn't just this year. Last year, even though he pitched very well all season long, he had first inning problems last year as well, but typically was able to limit the damage, maybe give up 2 or 3 in the first and then settle in and take you 6 innings of good solid baseball. And that's obviously the goal here tonight. Start stringing some zeros together and see if his guys can find a way to come back against Chris Carpenter.
Albert Pujols with that wrapping on his right elbow from where he was hit by the pitch last night. Taking ball 1. He looks at that one as well, and it's 2 balls, no strikes to Pujols. Pujols began the night with a .300 batting average. He's hit .300 or better for all 10 of his previous major league seasons. He's at .301 right now. Taps that one foul, and also in all of those years previously, he's hit 30 or more homers, driven in 100 or more runs. He needs 2 more runs batted in, and there you see where he ranks as a Cardinal for those numbers for his career. And his contract is coming to an end. Bounce to the shortstop, Clint Barmas. Clint's phone has been blowing up, he said. He's from Vincennes, Indiana. That's Cardinal country, and he's been hearing from a lot of Cardinal fans about this series.
Tell him to boot a ball.
Probably.
Hey, buddy, throw it in the seats for us.
Can't do it.
We'll buy you dinner when you get home.
Wouldn't be prudent. Lance Berkman with the RBI single to right, then came around to score in the first. Red Sox 3, Orioles 2, top of the 5th in Baltimore. Dustin Pedroia hit his 21st.
Meanwhile, the Rays have fallen behind the Yankees 5-zip after 3. That wasn't in the script.
It was not at all, was it?
David Price going for Tampa.
Berkman takes that one.
They really like their chances with him on the hill.
You know it. John Lester's pitching tonight on 3 days rest for Boston. He's given up 3 hits, 2 runs in 4 innings against Alfredo Simon of the Orioles. The Orioles and Astros kind of in similar spots, JD, really down in terms of where their normal finish would like to be, but with a chance here to win a big ball game at the end against a contender for the wild card.
Yeah, at least to have there's a little excitement in the ballpark that otherwise would not be here, certainly more so than there was in that Rocky series.
Struck him out looking. Berkman caught and becomes strikeout victim number 3. It's 5-0 Cardinals.
forces with Miller High Life to give returning veterans a piece of the High Life. Since June, our tab and bottle cap collection program has been a huge success, raising money to benefit veterans within our baseball community. You still have until the end of September to turn in your caps and tabs. To learn how to get involved, check out MillerHighLife.com.
Carlos Lee fouls it. There's strike one. 5-0 Cardinals. Lee with 94 runs batted in, 18 homers and a .277 batting average, is tied for fourth in doubles with 38 in the National League. Carlos 1 for 5 in this series. Takes a strike from Carpenter, and it's 0-2. Carpenter's curveball is wide. It's 1-2. Chris 3-3 in his career at Minute Maid Park with a 2.87 ERA. Trying to win here for the first time since the 05 season. Making his 34th start of the season, which ties for the National League lead.
If I were to say to you, Betances, Contos, and Laffey, your answer would be?
Yankee pitchers.
Yeah.
Are they pitching tonight?
Well, Betances went 2. Contos 2/3, and Laffey 1/3. So 3 scoreless innings of one-hit baseball by that trifecta.
Interesting.
And then David Rice, the big stud, or Price rather, for Tampa, has given up 6 runs. It's a crazy game.
Wasn't it though? A shot on the ground. Freeze comes up with it. Goes out lead. 1 out. Greg?
You know, the last 10 days we've had our top 10 highlights of the year, but we had some honorable mentions. And here's one of them. This was a pregame throw where the Renaissance Festival king must have thrown a changeup because he took a little off, or a little took off, or something, got it to the plate. That was one of the honorable mentions.
The stuff was a little short.
Yeah.
Ryan Bogusevic. Oh, were his talents on display last night with that game he had. There's ball 1.
The amazing thing was Altuve was able to get out of that costume back into his Astro uniform before anybody noticed.
Bogusevic had 2 hits, 2 runs scored, a walk, a couple of great throws, another nice play in the outfield last night. 2 balls, no strikes to Bryant. 3 for 5 in this series. That was his 3rd game with 2 outfield assists this year. Looks at that one, and it's 2-1. Carpenter maintains a quick pace. Combined numbers there.
He's doing a lot of good things. Kind of went on that little home run jag there a while back, and I thought maybe we'd see more of that from him as we rolled along. He's not done that, but it's in there. He's very strong. You watch him take BP, and he sends a lot of balls into that second deck. So to that end, he's a lot like Wallace. There's home run power there.
2-2 to Bryant. Another Brian Wood, and Tim Sinclair are our directors for Astros Live on road games on Astros television.
Timmy Ballgame?
Yep. Timmy Ballgame. Chris Monroe and David Rodriguez are truck engineers. Thanking all of these folks for their outstanding work again this season. Fouled, and it's still a 2-ball, 2-strike count for Carpenter, shooting for win number 11. And Tony La Russa's right-hander, one of those guys he would pick certainly if he had his choice of somebody who happened to be in this spot to win a big ball game, and he realigned his rotation so Carpenter would pitch this game tonight.
The National League Division Series begins Saturday.
Strike 3.
So Carpenter will not be able to be the first man out of the chute for Tony La Russa in that series, but you know, obviously he's just worried about getting there. You got to get there and then put it together once you're into the postseason.
Mark Teixeira's hit a pair of home runs tonight for the Yankees. One was a grand slam off David Price. Teixeira now with 39 home runs. Jimmy Paredes takes inside. There's ball 1 to the switch hitting third baseman, a .291 hitter with 2 homers, 18 runs batted in. Paredes 2 for 4 with 2 runs batted in this series. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Still 3-1. Atlanta leading Philadelphia. And they have now gone to the top of the 6th inning with Tim Hudson in command. Foul ball makes it 2-1.
And really, from Philly's perspective, the best case scenario would be that Atlanta and St. Louis had to play tomorrow, and then St. Louis won that game. Then Philly would play St. Louis, and they would have used Carpenter today, Loesch tomorrow.
True.
If the Braves win, the Phillies don't play the Braves in the first round anyway because they're in the same division. So the advantage of facing a team who's kind of wore out and has used their top pitchers to get there, that wouldn't exist against Atlanta.
Carpenter is sharp at the outset. He has struck out 3. He has retired the first 6 in order, and he leads 5-0.
Up 5-0 as we move to the 3rd. Support the Urban Youth Academy through the Astros in Action Foundation Astros Alumni Golf Tournament, Wednesday, November 9th. Then an afternoon playing golf with Astros players, alumni, and personnel for a great cause. Visit astros.com/golf to register and get more details. You're playing in that one, right, JD?
JD will be playing in that one. Yeah, he always plays in the Astros Alumni Golf Tournament, and he'll be starting his practice for that tournament tomorrow. Right, JD?
Well, if not tomorrow, the next day, Brownie.
All right. Hey, there's a nice article about you in the Chronicle today in your golf pursuits.
Yeah, the frustrated golfer. Standing ovation now here at Minute Maid Park for Drayton McClain. And we just did a little video tribute to him on the big screen here. Very nice response from the fans.
Yeah, between innings, there was that tribute up on the big El Grande, as Drayton has named it. Big video screen in high def. A lot of pictures down throughout his ownership years of this franchise. David Freese taking ball 1. And that's a strike to even the count at 1-1. Freese with the RBI double his first time up. So will this be the final game as owner? We don't know.
Yeah, it is a very peculiar situation.
To be determined, and he hopes very soon the torch will be passed to Jim Crane. Off-speed pitch is outside, and it's 3-1 from Brett Myers to David Freese. Phil Boudreau has done our stats work here in the booth again this season. Thanks to Phil for all of his excellent work, not only this year but down through all the years. Liner toward right center. Bogusevic over. Oh, he dropped it. It got in the lights, it appeared, and Freese is on it first. Dropped down to about waist level. He's really mad at himself.
Yeah, those are the ones that both left and right fielders sometimes have problems with in this ballpark. Those sinking line drives that get hung up in the lights, and then you pick it up at the very last minute.
Second error for Bogusevic this year. Hit him on the base of the hand, it looked like. Now it's Molina. Molina grounded out earlier.
Yeah, you're talking about Boots. You know, if we were to throw that out there, Boots, when's the last time an Astro right fielder dropped the line drive? He would have it. He would know it in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, he knows all that stuff. Joe Blanton went the first 2 for the Phillies tonight. Cole Hamels has pitched 3 in relief. Tim Hudson going all the way so far through 6 for Atlanta. And the Braves lead at 3-1, bottom of the 6th now. Well, the way things are at the moment, if it holds that Atlanta wins and St. Louis wins, there's a playoff in St. Louis tomorrow. Coming into today, there were 8 games on the scoreboard which will have a bearing on postseason play. And it's the first time in history both wild cards have gone into the final day undecided. Sharp single past the diving Clint Varmus. Molina aboard after the error. 2 men on, nobody out. Skip Schumacher hit the ground ball off Meyer's glove that trickled out to shortstop, and that went as an RBI single. Orioles batting bottom of the 5th, trailing the Red Sox 3-2. J.J. Hardy hit his 30th for Baltimore. Strike to Schumacher.
Yankees have extended their lead to 6-0 over the Rays.
Looking very good at the moment for Boston, but the Red Sox lead only by 1. Bouncer to second. Altuve with a backhanded flip. Varmus, the middleman. 4-6-3 double play. Freeze to third. Nick Punto comes up next. He had the RBI single to left in the first.
That would be a tailor-made double play ball.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals been hitting into a bunch of those.
They've hit into 194 double plays this year. Punto takes, and there's ball 1. Randy Moline and Kay Hill have been our Fox box operators in the truck this year. Stage managers have been Mary Carol Hazen, Ken Wilkinson, and Melissa Gordon. Two balls, no strikes. Cleveland 3, Detroit 3, bottom of the 6th in Detroit. That number 2 seed still undetermined in both the National and American leagues for the playoffs. Detroit with a 94-67 record, 1 game behind Texas. Now an intentional walk here will bring Carpenter to the plate with runners at first and third and 2 outs.
All these scenarios are just maddening for the traveling secretaries of these teams. They got to make accommodations at a couple different cities. Well, we could be going here, we could be going here, so we got to book rooms.
Yeah. This has to be the worst year ever for traveling secretaries. Carpenter tried to get a bunt down, but struck out as he fouled it with 2 strikes. It's Milwaukee 2, Pittsburgh 0, bottom of the 3rd in Milwaukee. Corey Hart hit his 26th home run. Jonathan Lucroy, number 12. Brewers trying for that home field advantage. They're so good at home. There is strike 1. Ryan Braun is 0 for 1. He's hitting .334. He will have to go 3 for 3 or 3 for 4 to beat out Jose Reyes for the batting title. 0-2. Reyes bunted for a hit his first time up today for the Mets in their win at home over Cincinnati, and then he left the game for a pinch runner. Terry Collins making the move.
After getting that 1 for 1, Terry Collins felt like Reyes had enough of an edge in the batting race. Didn't want to risk an 0-4 or 2 beyond that. So he got Reyes out of the game, and that puts it on Braun to have a big night.
Zach Greinke's pitching shutout ball for Milwaukee. Ground ball hit into right field for Carpenter, an RBI single to make it 6-0. Well, the Astros put Punto on to get the pitcher, but Carpenter foiled the strategy by picking up his 5th RBI.
Feeling in the Cardinal dugout has to be about as comfortable as it can be for a team that's in a possible go-home scenario if they lose.
John Jay takes a look at ball 1.
He's feeling pretty good about things in there, although Tony La Russa is not taking anything for granted. It's not in his nature.
No. Fly ball hits for center field. J.B. Shuck moving over toward left center. And the run is unearned. It's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left in the 3rd. Cardinals lead it 6-0.
And win game card for a chance to win World Series tickets. Compliments of Scott's.
Here at Minute Maid Park, the Cardinals have quieted the Astros fans by scoring 5 times in the 1st inning. Cardinals have plenty of their supporters here who were giving the Cardinals quite an ovation when they came off the field at the end of batting practice. And the young Astros players and their fans would love to be able to get some cheering started here in the bottom of the 3rd. Trailing 6-0 now. 6 straight retired by Chris Carpenter to open the game. Barmes, Quintero, and Myers due up in the Houston 3rd. Clint Barmes with 12 homers, 39 runs batted in, has a .246 batting average. He would like to return to the Astros, he said. He is headed for free agency at the end of this season. Here's strike 1 for Carpenter. Zach Greinke starting today for Milwaukee, and that's indicative of how important this home field advantage is for Ron Renneke, that he's starting Greinke. No balls, 2 strikes. He could have held him back for the playoffs. It'll be Giovanni Gallardo starting game 1 of the division series, but Milwaukee leads Arizona by 1 for the number 2 seed in the National League.
The Brewers have had a real nice year, and pitching obviously a big part of the story there, but it's a nice balanced rotation. Gallardo, Greinke, even Markham, you could have made a case for any one of those guys getting the ball for game 1 in the series.
Carpenter strikes out 3 in a row. That's number 4 in the game. Lucas Harrell warming up for Houston. Brett Myers comes out to the on-deck circle. Alberto Quintero with a .242 average has 2 homers, 25 runs batted in. Strike 1. Texas leads at the Angels 1-0 after 3. Mike Napoli hit his 29th home run. Quite a comeback by Arizona last night to win an extra innings on a grand slam. Line drive to right field. Berkman over, makes a running catch. 2 outs, and that's 8 straight for Carpenter, who's doing his best imitation of Mike Scott.
The Cardinals have sent 19 men to the plate in this ball game already. And the Astros have gone 8 up, 8 down so far. Myers is going to hit left-handed here.
He is 10 for 62 at the plate. Strike 1 to him.
He hasn't done this year, has he?
No, I've seen him do it in the cage, but not in the game.
Pretty good looking swing at that first one.
No balls, 2 strikes. That second one awfully tough for anybody to hit, right-hander or left-hander. Pretty serious sink for Carp. And the curveball gets him on strikes. So that's a perfect game through 3 for Carpenter. Mike Scott clinched with a no-hitter back in '86. Can Carpenter do something like that? 6-0 St. Louis.
Look at another honorable mention for our great plays of the year. In fact, this one just happened a couple of nights ago. Remember it? Squeeze bunt by Sanchez. Dotel can't handle it. The Astros win it in the bottom of the 10th. Another great moment for Astros. That was the 9th walk-off at home for the Astros this year. Tremendous, tremendous number. Hey, I want to throw out some thanks to some of our regulars, our camera guys. Cliff Crowley, who works in the booth with JD and Brownie. Frank Trevino, who was substituting for Robin Barrow last night and got attacked by the hummingbird. Kim Elston, Kevin Allen, Mike Brady, Jamie Tidwell. Those guys are here every night, and they give you the pictures.
Fly ball hit to left field. J.D. Martinez waiting for the Alan Craig fly ball for out number 1. He's 1 for 3 now in this game.
And face it, TV really isn't much without pictures.
Those guys do a terrific job. Robotic camera operators, Dana Sherman, Adrian Ochoa. Albert Pujols singled out a run in the first, grounded out in the second inning. That's ball 1 to him. Raul Coleman and Richard Martinez take care of the utilities for us. In the hole, Barmas backhands, throws, takes care of Pujols, 2 outs. Robin Barrow.
How come the hummingbird doesn't attack him?
Well, Frank has moved his location because he wants to avoid hummingbird attacks tonight.
Probably had
and Mike Brady
nectar in his mustache or something. Maybe a popsicle before the game.
Kim Elston is hiding behind there. Gene Elston's son. Fly ball foul, and Jimmy Paredes comes over. Paredes takes care of it. It's a quick fourth inning, and it's 6-0 Cardinals. 4 pitches there for Myers. In the top of the first on 7 hits. Then they added a 3rd inning unearned run. Chris Carpenter has been a story for them. He's retired the first 9. And it'll be Shuck, Altuve, and Martinez batting in the Houston 4th against Carpenter. Shooting for career win number 144. Carpenter's been through some surgeries, but when healthy, boy, he racks up the innings. J.B. Shuck takes ball 1. Last year, 235 innings for Chris, 16-9 record, and this year he's at 231 right now. It's a 2-ball no strike count. Cy Young Award winner in 2005. Carpenter was 21-5 that year. He put together a 13-game winning streak. Fly ball out to right center field. John Jay. And that's out number 1. Phillies now are on the board, trailing Atlanta 3-2 in the top of the 7th inning.
Atlanta, their MO all year long has been get a lead into the 7th inning and turn it over to that talented young bullpen, and that plan worked very well for most of the season. But lately, some tired arms out there, and those guys haven't been quite as sharp. But still, if you're Freddie Gonzalez, you can't hesitate to hand the ball to the likes of Venners and Kimbrel and O'Flaherty.
Foul ball up the right field line. Altuve. Strike 1 to Jose, who grounded to shortstop in the first. That's Berkman chasing it over there. Christopher Stevens and Carol Van Norman have handled our graphics work this year. Altuve 389 in the minors, 274 in the majors, a total of 12 homers and 71 runs batted in. Astros minor league player of the year. 1-1. Videotape has been handled this year by Deb Ferguson, Mark Alsmeyer, Tim Paris, Margaret Krause, Snapper Fennelly, Luis Salazar. Is that number 200? And out into center field. Altuve gets his 200th hit of the season. And the first base runner for the Astros after 10 straight had been set down by Carpenter.
Well, he'd be a good candidate to break it up because he makes a lot of contact. This is a breaking ball, outer third and down. Not a bad pitch at all. Jose pings it into center field. If you had the number 2 in the no-hitter pool, you're a winner. Second place hitter broke it up. Congratulations. Collect your winnings on the way out the door.
J.D. Martinez fouls it away. There's strike one. He struck out in the first inning. Boston leading 3-2 at Baltimore is batting in the top of the sixth inning. And John Lester has stayed in the game through 5. Simone has left after 4 1/3. Troy Patton in the game now for the Orioles.
A rumor today that the Red Sox might be interested in acquiring Bruce Chen from the Royals to pitch tomorrow in case there were a 1-game playoff.
If there is, it'll be at Tampa Bay, but that is not looking very likely at the moment. The Yankees leading 7-0 at Tampa Bay after 5. Ryan Lavarnway is catching again for Boston tonight. He's a rookie.
Red Sox give that lead up pretty easily the way they're going.
That's strikeout number 6. Lavarnway catching because the other 2 catchers are injured right now.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. You know, all these high pressure games create very interesting scenarios for heroes and goats, and it's fun when a guy comes out of nowhere you never heard of. This Lavarnway kid with a couple of home runs yesterday.
Carlos Lee takes it. It's ball 1 to Carlos. He grounded out in the second inning. Andrew Jones hit his 13th home run for the Yankees. Phil Hughes in that game in relief now. Slow chopper to the left side, fielded by Freese. On over to Pujols to end the 4th inning with no runs, a hit, and the man left. 6-0 Cardinals. Making cancer history. J.R. Richard on September 28, 1978 becomes the first right-hander in National League history to strike out 300 in a season, bringing up 6 to reach 303, and he did it again in his career. Just a wicked slider coming in about 90 miles per hour, and his fastball could be high 90s. Try to hit that stuff from a 6'8" right-hander.
Yeah, just nasty. Ian Nolan, Joe Niekro.
Yeah.
Mike Scott also struck out 300. He did that in 1986, struck out 306. No one got 300 a few times in his career.
Mm-hmm. The Angels, 50th year celebration, number 50, worn by J.R. Richard.
Nolan also did it in 89. At the age of 42, he struck out 301. That's just otherworldly.
Yeah. Freese with the RBI double, then reached on an error. He scored 2 runs. 2 balls and a strike. Chris Carpenter has needed only 48 pitches to get him through 4 innings. His mound opponent Brett Myers has thrown 79. Strike makes it 2-2. In 2001, the Astros and Cardinals played to see who would win the division and who would be the wild card team on the final day of the season. Houston won it, wound up with identical records, but Houston was declared the division winner because of winning the season series. There's a deep drive, Shuck on the run. That's extra bases. Freese heads for second, and he'll pull up there with a double. Second double of the night for Freese, number 16 of the year.
And one out in front of the Cardinal bullpen. Last time up, he hit that line drive out to Bogusevic. They got hung up in the lights, and now drives this ball out in front of the Astros bullpen. It looked like a knuckleball. Myers has thrown a couple of those this year now. I'm pretty sure that's what he just threw Freese.
10 hits for the Redbirds. They've been in double figures in hits in all 3 games in this series. Yadier Molina is 1 for 2. That's 39 hits in this series so far for St. Louis. Ball 1 to Molina. Matt Weaver, Ray Hausman, Keith Marrero have been our audio assists this year. Jason Martin, our lead audio.
Somebody's got to boss the job.
Yeah. Thanks to all of them for their outstanding work. Damon McGavick, the technical director. Roger McNally, Steve Shaw, Tim Tunk Joplin on video. There's a shot. Clint Barmas picks it nicely to his left. Throws out Molina. Freese gets to third on out number 1. Freese didn't freeze. He took off.
That has who's on first potential. Freeze on a line. No, he didn't want to freeze on a line. He went.
Now the infield moves in with Schumacher the batter. Schumacher with an RBI single and hit into a double play. There's strike 1.
Ball really sharply hit by Molina. Nice hands here by Barmas. He starts the glove down and then comes up to handle that hop. A lot easier to go up with the glove than to start up and try to reach down for a skidding ground ball.
0-2 to Schumacher. Red Sox and Orioles are in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-2 Boston. The Orioles have 2 outs and runners at first and third. Bouncer. Myers can't get it. It is fielded by Barmas, and here's a throw to the plate. And Carlos lead, and they're going to throw the ball around the horn after the run scores, but it's now a 7-0 ball game as Carlos couldn't get it to the plate at the time, of course, but it took a good play by Barmas to get out number 2.
Yeah, you see Freeze making sure that ball got by Myers before starting home, and Carlos with a why not throw to the plate. Barmas really didn't have a shot to get him.
Nope. 7-0 Cardinals. Freese coming home to score for the 3rd time in this game, and it's Nick Punto next. He's been on both times.
Another knuckleball.
Yeah, 68 miles per hour.
Might as well. Last start of the year. Probably been playing with a little bit in the bullpen. There he goes. He probably knows he's coming out of the game after this inning, so he's gonna go to it a little bit. He got the left-handed at bat in. He's getting his bucket list done here. And a left-handed at bat. Now he's working some knuckleballs.
Pitch number 90 is good for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Myers had lowered his ERA to 4.31 before this game tonight. That one's foul and out of play. 2-2 with Carpenter on deck. Detroit broke a tie with a run in the home 7th inning, still batting, leading Cleveland 4-3. Punched out toward shortstop. Caught by Barmes. 1 run, 1 hit. Nobody left after 4.5. Cardinals lead it 7-0.
The American League's best teams will be in the ALCS. You see that on Fox. There's some of the great players that are battling. Legends born in October. It starts on October 8th on Fox, but who, in fact, will be in it? Still trying to figure out that wild card situation in the American League. Here's where we are. If Boston wins and the Yankees hold on to that win, Boston is in. However, Baltimore's not that far behind. That could send it into a game tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll follow it all night, guys.
I predict a game-winning home run by Robert Andino of the Baltimore Orioles to beat the Sox.
Crazy. Chris Carpenter leading 7-0. Throws the first pitch, and it's ball 1 to Brian Bogusevic. Home 5th inning.
Well, Tigers and Cleveland are tied 3-3. Rangers lead the Angels 1-0. Middle of the 5th in Anaheim.
2-1. And if the Tigers win and Texas loses, they wind up with the same number of wins, but Detroit would get the number 2 seed because of winning the season series from Texas. Smacked on a line. Lance Berkman waiting for it to come down, and his glove hardly had to move. 1 out.
So if that were to happen and Boston were to be the wild card team, then the Yankees would play the Rangers in round 1. And Boston will play Detroit.
Yankees host division series game number 1 Friday at 8:30 Eastern time. And the number 2 seed in the American League will host the wild card team Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern time. The National League playoffs start on Saturday. Phillies will be hosting game 1 on Saturday, and number 2 seed will also. Paredes puts it in the air, foul. There is strike 1. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Well, most people are picking the Phillies to be the National League World Series entry, for whatever that's worth. Some people pick the Yankees, some the Rangers to be the American League entry. That Detroit club could be pretty tough, though. It's 1-2. Johnny Venters is in the game for Atlanta in the top of the 8th inning, with the Braves leading the Phillies 3-2. He's facing Chase Utley right now with nobody on and 1 out. 2-2. Jordan Schaefer has heard from all of his buddies with the Braves. Popped up foul. Freeze Goes over into foul territory and makes a stab at it, but doesn't quite get there. Still 2-2. Freese has had some ankle surgery on both ankles. We'd like to thank Thomas Leonard, Associate Producer Graphics, for his fine work this year. Hill Thornell, our director for several of the games. He's been directing Astros baseball since 1995. Adam Hinsdale does some directing for us. And Perry Furman, producer and AP Graphics. Strikeout number 7 for Carpenter.
One of his best fastballs of the night, 94 miles an hour. Right by Jimmy. Who's going to win the American League MVP? Jacoby Ellsbury has got a lot of folks in his corner. Batista's put up huge numbers again this year. Curtis Granderson, certainly a compelling case, and a lot of folks debating whether Justin Verlander belongs in the conversation. Some people just don't want to consider a pitcher for the most valuable player award, although there's been a number of them handed to pitchers over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. 0-2. You know what's crazy is that for the first time since 1924, there are pitching Triple Crown winners in both leagues. Pitching Triple Crown means you lead the league in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. If you tie for the lead in wins, that counts as leading. That's what Clayton Kershaw did with his 21 wins, tying Ian Kennedy. Strikeout number 8. And after 5, it's 7-0 Cardinals. Frost Brewed Coors Light. Well, we have a special surprise. There he is, our colleague Greg Lucas, and the famous hummingbird of Minute Maid Park.
You know, that was a vicious rogue hummingbird. That wasn't just any hummingbird. That was the famous vicious rogue hummingbird that lives in this ballpark. Frank knows all about it because they did like his orange shirt, I think.
Was attacked by that very hummingbird last night, and he got buzzed.
Well, you know, he should have tried to catch it with his hand, like Rocky Balboa chasing chickens. You got to be quick. You got to be quick to nab a hummingbird.
Wilton Lopez comes in for the Astros now. Brett Myers leaving after 5 innings of work, allowing 10 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, no walks, or 1 intentional walk rather, and 5 strikeouts. And it's Lopez against Chris Carpenter. Chops it foul is strike 1. Our thanks to you, Greg, for all your outstanding work again this season and all your many years on Astros games. It's been fun working with you again this year.
It has, and you know, we're going through all this list. We don't want to get people mistaken thinking that that entire crew goes on the road. There's a cadre of 7 that hit the road, 3 announcers and 4 production guys, and you're going to be getting to some of those names shortly. You've actually done a couple of them, Perry Furman, Adam, and Hill, but there's 4 more guys that are with us almost all the time on the road, and I know you've got those yet. You're doing pretty good on the list, though.
We'll get to them. A little more ball game to go. Bouncer foul. Jerry Blancas, the associate producer videotape, does such an outstanding job on a lot of those replays. Mike Uguccione, associate producer graphics, is with us for a lot of our games. Paul Bykowski, director. Wave Robinson, producer. From our lead production crew, we thank Jessica Shandy, the production coordinator. That's a strikeout, out number 1. Jeff McElroy, the coordinating producer, and Murphy Brown, the executive producer of Fox Sports Houston. Thanks.
No, not that Murphy Brown. That was a TV show. Different Murphy Brown.
Strikeout for Wilton Lopez. And it's John Jay next. The Cardinals came firing out with 5 runs on 7 hits in the first inning. Jay got it started with an infield hit off the glove of Jimmy Paredes.
Yeah, we were hoping for some drama here tonight, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it.
There is some in Baltimore. 3-2 Red Sox. Top of the 7th inning.
Some in Atlanta too. 3-2 Atlanta over the Phillies. The Phillies have runners on first and second with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. No trivia tonight, Greg? What's up with that?
No, we don't have any tonight, I don't believe. If you want to come up with a bonus one.
Oh, well, all right.
You want to get the bell out
here we go.
Old time's sake.
Who were the last? Brownie mentioned the double triple crown pitching winners this year.
Oh boy!
It happened in 1924. Who were they?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Another honorable mention, top 10. Best moments in Astros history. The Great Bell controversy.
Yeah.
He did it twice.
Yeah.
That last one was flat.
The Bracabella,
which is broken.
Hiding from the elements.
Patty does a good job. Our audio guys will go anywhere.
Yep. And from where were you when that happened?
That was the Oklahoma City airport.
Yeah. All right, tell us the story again about the Oklahoma City airport.
I was coming back from the college baseball Big 12 championship. My flight got canceled, so I was supposed to be in Chicago that day. So I actually played around with my computer, and Wave Robinson and the guys in the truck were able to figure out a way to actually get that on the air. So I did appear in the pregame show and during the trivia question.
Broken bat liner. Barmas comes in for it, makes the catch, throws to first. No double play. 2 outs. Well, you know, traveling around, those things do happen, and they do make it more challenging and interesting.
Lopez shattering the bat there of Alan Craig, inducing the weak little soft liner. So 1924, it was Walter Johnson in the American League and the immortal Dazzy Vance in the National League.
Oh, good stuff. Albert Pujols has an RBI single in 3 trips. His batting average is exactly 300 right now. But he needs 1 more RBI to get to 100 for the season, and that's where he has been in all 10 previous major league years. So he's taking this right down to the final few innings of perhaps the final regular season game. Which brings to mind a question, Greg, and you or Phil Boudreau would know this. If there is a playoff game tomorrow with the Cardinals and Braves, do those stats count as part of the regular season? Yes, they do.
They always have in the past, and that one's good enough for the bell for the night. Yeah, the bell made the final show.
Okay. 4 Cardinal first basemen are in the Hall of Fame. Name them. Albert Pujols should be joining them at some point. Up the middle, Barmas with the flip to Altuve for the force play on Jay. No runs, no hits, and a man stranded. Middle of the 6th inning, 7-0 Redbirds.
family. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Okay, Orlando Cepeda and Stan Musial. That's my contribution. The rest are up to you, JD.
I think there's a little angle here, and I think we've been down this road with Cardinal Hall of Famers before.
Okay.
Is Walter Alston? Did Walter Alston play some first base?
Well, he actually, that's the only place he ever played for him, but I'm not sure what he only had one at bat. Did he ever play defense?
We don't have him on the list.
He doesn't qualify as
no.
I thought there might have been a little trick question there.
No.
So these are legitimate first basemen.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike, but Musial's must be classified as an outfielder.
Oh, they classified him as an outfielder.
Yeah. You got Cepeda. You want the other 3?
Otherwise, we'll sit here thinking.
We're going to the Wayback Machine for these?
Pretty far back. Yeah, 30s and 40s for one of them. And then beyond, further on back for the other 2.
Ducky Medwick was an outfielder, wasn't
he?
Correct. Yep. Foul back, and it's 1-2 to Quintero, who lined to right field earlier. Brett Wallace is in the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot due up next. The bullpen is busy for the Astros. Steven Strasburg won the final game for Florida at its current ballpark before moving into the new one. 3-1 Washington beating Florida. Strasburg winning his first of the year.
Punched out 10, gave up just 1 hit.
David Freese diving to his left. 1 out. And Chris Volstad was the loser, and Drew Storen got his 43rd save. Good play by Freese for the 6th straight batter retired by Carpenter. And now it's Wallace.
Is Ripper Collins in the Hall of Fame?
He was not on our list of first base.
Okay, well, I mean, I know he played first base, but I didn't know he was in the Hall of Fame.
You want the other ones?
Yeah, we better.
Johnny Mize, Jim Bottomley, and Jake Beckley.
Jim Bottomley, I didn't think he was in the Hall of Fame.
I thought of
Johnny
Mize.
We should have gotten.
I thought of Mize, but Beckley I would have never gotten. Yeah, well, thank you for bringing it.
We wanted to give you that last shot.
Yeah, there it is.
Wallace, a .260 hitter with 5 homers, has 29 runs batted in. He's 1 for 16 pinch hitting. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Drew Pomeranz in Colorado beat San Francisco today 6-3. Pomeranz finishing 2-1 as a big leaguer. He beat Eric Surkamp. It's a 1-2 count. Mets beat the Reds 3-0 in New York. A win for Batista, a loss for Volquez. Toronto over the White Sox 3-2 with 2 in the 9th inning. Now the White Sox turn the page and get set for a new manager for next year with Ozzie Guillen moving into Miami.
A lot of speculation that maybe Tony La Russa will be the guy.
He has not answered that speculation, of course. He has a mutual option for next year with Cardinal management, which means he could depart if they wanted him to come back. But he typically takes stock of things and makes that decision at some point during the winter. And the Ozzie Guillen era just beginning now in Miami with a brand new ballpark coming for the Marlins next year. Might include some different faces. There are all kinds of rumors. Maybe a Ramos Ramirez, maybe Carlos Zambrano out to second base. Schumacher on to first, 2 down.
I think Zambrano and Ozzie would be good theater. That would be fun to see.
Really would. Now it's in a delay of all things. A nervous time for Red Sox fans. They lead it 3-2 in the 7th inning. Tampa Bay getting thumped 7-0 by the Yankees. There's strike 1 to J.B. Shuck, who's 0 for 2. And in the Atlanta game, still a 1-run lead for the Braves, 3-2. They're batting in the bottom of the 8th inning now, with Ryan Madsen in the game for the Phillies. Johnny Venters got out of 8th inning trouble. And it's going to be very interesting from this point on for that Atlanta club. And of course, whether it's St. Louis or Atlanta, and especially if they have to play each other tomorrow. That team will probably be serious underdogs. If the Cardinals make the playoffs, they draw the Phillies in the first round.
Yeah, that's one of those. Congratulations, you get to play the Phillies. Be careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah. And if the Braves make it, well, as of right now, let's see, Milwaukee's winning, right? Yeah, 5-1, bottom of the fifth inning. So the Brewers lead Arizona by 1. If Milwaukee wins, then it would be Milwaukee versus Atlanta if Atlanta makes it. Up the middle and by the second baseman Schumacher into center field. J.B. Shuck is on. It's only hit number 2 for the Astros.
A 1-out single by Altuve back in the 4th. And now this one, he has not walked anybody.
Jose Altuve got the first hit after Carpenter retired the first 10 in the game. A 200 hit season for Altuve. And he'll play some winter ball in Venezuela.
He might have a 300 hit season.
He might. Ryan Braun 0 for 2 at last report, so it appears that Jose Reyes is the batting champion, the first Met to do so. And he can be a free agent. There's ball 1. Matt Kemp is tied for the home run lead with Prince Fielder with 38, and Kemp leads and runs batted in with 124 coming into play tonight. He gave it a heck of a run for a triple crown, 324 batting average. There hasn't been a triple crown winner since 1937, Joe Medwick in the National League. There's Kemp third in batting average, tied for first in homers and leading in runs batted in. Also tied for second in steals, 40. He had talked about being in the 40-40 club at the end of last season. If he hits 2 homers tonight, he's in the club.
He'll be swinging hard. They're in Arizona. It's a good home run ballpark.
Yes, it is. How about that game-winning grand slam?
Who hit that?
Ryan Roberts. They scored, I think, 6 runs in the 10th to win that game on a grand slam. Altuve takes a walk. That's only his 5th walk.
That's really remarkable that he would walk off Carpenter on a night where Carpenter's been so sharp.
Yeah. And then when Roberts was rounding the bases, he gave it the old Kirk Gibson pump.
Ah, did he?
Yeah.
Did he limp too?
I don't think
try
so.
to hobble?
I don't think so, but he did take his shirt off before he got to home plate. That team's had the magic this year. That's a team to watch. J.D. Martinez has 2 strikeouts tonight. Joe Saunders pitching tonight for Arizona. That game just getting started with the Dodgers in town. Foul back. There's strike 1.
In a year where the improbable has happened, the impossible has happened.
Yes. Bruce Chen is pitching tonight for Kansas City.
Oh, there goes that trade.
He has a shutout going. It's 0-0. Bottom of the 6th at Minnesota. Rolled out to second. Schumacher in. And in the 6th, it's no runs a hit. 2 men stranded. After 6, Carpenter shutting out the Astros and leading 7-0.
top 7-0. As the Astros finish the 2011 season tonight, you can start planning for the 2012 season. 2012 is the Astros' 50th anniversary, presented by the Methodist Hospital System, and season tickets are on sale now. Lock in great prices and benefits by purchasing early, and to do so, go to Astros.com. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Bart, and thanks to you for your fine work again this year, and also Patty and Kevin and all the pre- and post-game partners. Kevin
Appreciate that, Brownie.
Lucas Harrell comes in. He's 0-2 with a 3.75 ERA, 12 innings of work. Disappointing start for him a few days ago. 3 innings, 7 hits. He allowed 5 runs, 3 earned against Colorado on Sunday, but he's certainly in the picture for next spring, JD.
And I'm sure he's appreciative of this opportunity to get back out there tonight and finish the season with a little better taste in his mouth.
Berkman swings, strike one.
Not that it matters a whole lot. Doesn't matter much at all, but still it's nice to come out and finish with a scoreless 1-2-3 inning as opposed to that last start. Good change up there to Lance to get things started.
Yeah. And follows that up with a heater and gets a strike. A foul tip. 0-2 to Lance. Ryan Dempster for the Cubs. Wade LeBlanc for the San Diego Padres. 4-1 San Diego. Middle of the 4th in San Diego.
A lot of talk about Mike Quade possibly losing his job in Chicago after just a little over a year at the helm. That would be unfortunate. Didn't really have much to work with. He's a good man.
Has another year on his contract. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, they fired Jim Henry, the general manager, during the season. So they're looking for a new GM.
Lately, there have been rumors that Ryan Sandberg might be rejoining that organization after managing the Phillies AAA club.
That was the buzz when we were in Chicago. That and who knows? That maybe it's just people in the media talking or fans, but that was kind of there seemed to be some momentum for bringing Sandberg in to manage next year.
Craig Kimbrell's in the game for Atlanta. Phillies batting in the 9th. 3-2 Atlanta. Placido Polanco reached first base, and he just left for a pinch runner. And he's there with nobody out. And looks like Carlos Ruiz is the batter with a 3-2 count. Berkman takes a look at it, and it's all 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We could do one of the first multicasts of all time, Brownie. I could do a radio play-by-play of the Brave game based on what I'm seeing on this television up here while you do the Astros Cardinals game.
Okay. Well, maybe we should do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't annoy anybody to have to listen to that. Anyway, Kimbrell just punched out Ruiz. So
okay.
Braves are 2 outs away from getting on an airplane and heading to St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, you talked about traveling secretaries. Boy, that's just a nightmarish situation for that Braves traveling sec right now. Berkman pops it up. Barmas out into shallow left field. 1 out.
Now, while we're throwing out thank yous, how about one to Barry Waters, the Astros traveling secretary, who takes such good care of us on the road each and every season.
Yep. Got Dennis Laborio and Carl Schneider. Steve Perry traveled with us some of the time this year, doing all the equipment work. David Freese has a pair of doubles. He's driven in a run, and he scored 3. Good movement there on the sinker for Harrell for strike 1. They're still in a delay. Red Sox 3, Orioles 2 in the 7th.
Steve Perry in the visiting clubhouse here is probably pulling awfully hard for Atlanta.
Yeah. He could have a mop-up of a celebration on his hands.
Yeah, if Atlanta were to lose and the Cardinals to clinch, his clubhouse would be just a mess.
Not the way you want to wind up the season if it's not your club.
Although I imagine teams that just clinched probably tip better.
Oh, you know it.
You might get a new carpet out of it.
Yeah, they've got all that playoff money coming in. 2. Quintero started to throw the ball around. Pitch was called ball 2, and it's 2-2.
I never thought much about that, but if a team clinches on the road and they have the usual champagne celebration and dumping it all over each other and tearing it up in the clubhouse, that's a pretty hefty cleanup bill. And I would imagine that visiting club they'd have to write a big check, right?
I would think so. That's a strikeout looking for Freese. You know, the best though of all probably was the Astros clinching in St. Louis when they won the league championship series, because that was the final game in that stadium. They didn't have to worry about cleaning that thing up. They were tearing it down. Yadier Molina 1 for 3. There's strike 1 on the slider to him. Wilton Lopez in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs, with 1 walk, 1 strikeout in his final appearance of the year. It's 0-2. Wilton put in another hard-working season. He's had back-to-back years of yeoman's work out of the Astros bullpen. He set a career high with his 73rd appearance. Tops on the club. 1-2. Phillies have runners at first and second and 1 out in the 9th, trailing by 1. 2-2, and Craig Kimbrell, the rookie who's pitched so very well, is trying to nail it down. Foul back. Well, where would the Braves be without those 3 relievers who seem to pitch almost every night? Kimbrell and Venters were competing for the closer's spot, and Eric O'Flaherty has moved in to help them in the earlier innings. 24,358 to paid attendance, and it's a strikeout to end the top of the 7th. Harrell has a 1-2-3 inning, and it's 7-0 Cardinals. This is nuts. T-shirts right now to the folks below us as a final gift to these fans who have been so good down through the years. Good to see a good crowd tonight. 24,358 the paid attendance. It's 7-0 Cardinals. Carlos Lee batting. He's grounded out twice to third. Fouls this one back into the crowd for strike 1. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, the Phillies have loaded the bases with 1 out. Craig Kimbrell facing Chase Utley. And Utley just punched a line drive to left, a sac fly to tie the game, 3-3 in the top of the 9th. So these Cardinal fans are going to get into that. when they get the word. Fly ball to right. Berkman comes in. One out. That Atlanta game started about an hour earlier than this one and is running a couple of innings ahead. Phillies 3, Atlanta 3 with runners at first and second, 2 outs in the top of the ninth. And now the Cardinal fans are seeing that score being posted. Our news is circulating here.
Somebody must have they're looking at their iPhones or whatever, because it has not gone up on the out-of-town scoreboard here, but clearly they're aware of what's going on in Atlanta.
Definite buzz in this ballpark and an excitement for Cardinal supporters. Brian Bogusevic is 0 for 2.
It's just really bizarre to have this going on here.
Yes.
At Minute Maid Park.
Now the cheer as they all see that 3 go up for the Phillies. Swing and a miss there by Bogusevic. 1-1. Hunter Pence is the batter for the Phillies in the ninth inning. With runners at first and second, 2 outs and a 2-0 count on him. Red Sox and Orioles still delayed. 3-2 Boston in the 7th. Bogusevic is strikeout victim number 9. Let's go to Greg Lucas.
For the 162nd time, I will say, hey, baseball fans, Chevy is proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. If you'd like to learn more Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. You should have that memorized by now.
Oh, yeah, you do. Paredes the batter, and he looks at strike one. He's struck out both times tonight. An overpowering game for Carpenter, with 2 singles allowed, no walks, 9 strikeouts. Pence just threw a walk to load the bases in the Phillies' top of the 9th inning, and now Freddie Gonzalez is headed for the mound and Craig Kimbrell. And it's difficult for Freddie because he may be managing a game tomorrow night, needing Kimbrell again. Grounder foul. It's a 1-1 count. Boy, Freddie Gonzalez has been through the ringer this month, hasn't he? Unbelievable. Rays have gone 10-19 in the last 29. The Astros have won more games than Boston since August 27th, 13-7. And a strikeout is number 10 of the night for Carpenter. Ending the 7th inning with the Cardinals up big, 7-0.
Jack's Really Big Chicken Combo is back, and for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Well, how about another honorable mention for great moments of the season? There it is. Brownie and JD bobblehead night. Dave Clark was really into that. So was Junction Jack. So were thousands of others. And some, well, they have different ideas about what those two guys should be doing.
Oh, that little kid was priceless that night. That kept him busy for about 3 hours that night.
And don't forget, by the way, speaking of honors, Bill Brown is one of those nominated for the final group of ballots for the Ford Frick Award this year. You can get there through Facebook/Baseball Hall. You can also get through, if you don't use Facebook, through the Baseball Hall of Fame website. But give Brownie a vote. Get him in that final group and have him honored for his 25-plus years here, over 30 years overall, in a baseball booth, guys.
Anewi Rodriguez in the game gets a fly ball near the left field line. J.D. Martinez coming over toward the line and makes the catch. One pitch, one out on Schumacher here in the 8th inning. Well, Greg, it's been a big honor just to be in this booth every night and work with you guys, and it's been just so much fun down through the years. Always kind of a wistful final game of the year.
Yeah. The last day of school, it's all over. A baseball season is like a life, Brownie.
Yeah.
Conceived in the off season. Spring training is pregnancy. Born on opening day, full of hope and promise.
And you're always working. What do we have, 18 days off? And some of those aren't really days off when you got to travel.
And then you die a miserable death on the final day of the season.
Yeah, that's it. One ball, one strike.
What on earth were we doing?
Poetry time. Still a rain delay in Baltimore with the Red Sox up 3-2 in the 7th.
Braves got out of that mess in the 9th, so it's tied going to the bottom of the 9th.
Chris Medlin came in to extract them from that bases loaded jam. Retiring Michael Martinez on a pop to Chipper Jones. Now Braves bottom of the 9th. Inside DePunto.
How about a game-winning Chipper Jones home run?
Well, Chipper's playing bone on bone with that right knee, according to recent reports. Boy, tough September for Derek Lowe, huh?
Yeah. Well, he had an ERA up around 9, didn't he?
Yeah. Popped up near second base. Barmas cuts over, but Altuve's there. 2 outs. There's a little Cardinal fan who's extremely pleased.
Whoop.
High energy guy. Last September, JD, Derek Lowe was 5-0 with a 1.17 ERA. And he joined Tom Seaver and Randy Johnson as the only National League pitchers to pitch in at least 5 September games and win them all, with an ERA as low since the league began keeping track of earned runs back in 1912. That was last September. This September, 0-5 with an ERA of 8.75.
Ouch.
And he became the first National League pitcher since 1912 to pitch in at least 5 September games and lose them all with an ERA that high. Bogusevic without number 3. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Cardinals up 7-0.
hard blast for the entire season. This was also the #1 moment. August 16th versus the Cubs. The Astros needed 4 to win. They got 4 on an ultimate grand slam by Brian Bogusevic. Only the 26th in the history of baseball. And they've played over 200,000 games, as we learned this year. What a moment it was for Brian Bogusevic, our #1 moment. #1 Coors Cold Hard Glass. There it was. It was #1. More ways than one.
That was fun.
Tony La Russa has made some changes, including Ryan Theriot coming off the bench to play second base. Skip Schumacher, meanwhile, has moved out to right field. There's Theriot at second and Schumacher out in right. With Lance Berkman coming in. And we've got another change at third base. Daniel Descalzo for David Freese. Pop-up Clint Barmas, Descalzo underneath it. 1 pitch, 1 out in the home 8th for Carpenter, who has just been mowing down Astros, allowing just 2 singles. And he's needed only 92 pitches so far. Struck out 10 with 1 walk. Now Carlos Corporon is the pinch hitter for Humberto Quintero, who was 0 for 2. Carlos's infant son just undergoing some 11 hours of heart surgery a couple of days ago. He's hitting 190. There is strike 1. In the Braves' 9th inning, Brian McCann hit a fly ball for out #1, and the Phillies have Michael Stutz, a right-handed reliever, in the game. And now Jason Hayward is at the plate in a 3-3 game in the bottom of the 9th. And he just struck out for out #2. Out to second base. Theriot takes it on to first, 2 down for Carpenter. Carpenter has 32 complete games in his career. Cardinals have a losing record in his 33 starts. They're 15 and 18. Chris Johnson's the pinch hitter now for Rodriguez. Johnson's put together a good month of September. 252 for the season, 7 homers, 42 runs batted in for CJ. There's strike 1 to him.
Taking a very positive step in the right direction this month after being demoted to the minor leagues.
Made some good plays at third base as well. 1-1.
That's the thing about this Astros season. The hope was there'd be a lot of questions answered, but there really haven't been. There's been more guys introduced into the mix, so there are more options as this club heads to spring training next year, I think, for certain jobs, but still a lot of question marks as to who's going to be the everyday third baseman, second baseman. What's going to happen with Lee and Wallace? I assume Carlos is probably your first baseman next year. Outfield situation very muddied.
Strikeout number 11 for Carpenter ends the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. Cardinals up 7-0. Mark Melanson's 8 wins in relief are the most by an Astro reliever since Doug Henry's 8 in 1998 and Jim Doherty's 8 in 1995. Not only that, but he has a little baby daughter now, Brooklyn Marie.
It's a good year all the way around.
Absolutely. Carlos Corporan stays in to do the catching after pinch hitting for Humberto Quintero. And the new pitcher, pitcher number 5, is Houston native Lance Pendleton, coming in to work the Cardinal ninth.
Against the Rockies on Sunday, he allowed 5 runs on 6 hits in 2 innings of work. Walked a man, struck out 1. There was some pretty rugged pitching lines in that one.
Yes, there were.
What was the final score of that ball game?
19-3. John Jay leads it off. The last 8 have been retired by Astros pitching in a row. Now let's see. 2 Astros relievers were tagged with 5 earned runs, and a third gave up 4 earnings in that game. Rodriguez had a 1-2-3-8. Harold did that in the 7th. Lopez had a hitless, scoreless 6th with a walk. Jay with an 0-2 count. Phillies are batting in the top of the 10th inning with 1 out and nobody on. Detroit won 5-4 over Cleveland. Jose Valverde got his 49th save.
He stayed perfect.
I believe, yeah, I don't think he ever blew one this year. No, it was perfect for the season.
That's correct. I'm just looking it up. 49 saves and 49 chances.
Wow.
With a 2.24 ERA.
Popped up back. This will go out of play. Bruce Chen still has a shutout going for Kansas City. 0-0 at Minnesota. Bottom of the 8th inning.
All right. So what does this Detroit win do for the matchup?
Forces the Rangers to win to have that number 2 seed, and they're tied 1-1 in the top of the 8th, playing at Anaheim. So if the Rangers win, they do have the number 2 seed. But if not, they would have identical records. But Detroit won the season series, so the Tigers will get that. And you talked about the potential matchups, so that could be awfully important. It just really seems on paper, and we're frequently wrong about these things, that both the wild card winners in both leagues will be at a tremendous disadvantage in terms of having to play hard right down to the very end in close races.
Well, I think the Red Sox in particular would be vulnerable just because of their pitching. There's been no indication that their pitching is going to be straightened out. That would be the issue. I mean, they've got a great lineup, and for much of the summer they were the best team in the American League. But obviously September's been just brutal for them.
As for the Astros, well, Assistant General Manager Bobby Heck is working on who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft next June. It'll be one of the happenings of 2012. Popped up, and here comes J.D. Martinez over. 1 down. Let's go to Bart now.
Thanks, Bill. We want to remind fans that they can follow the upcoming baseball playoffs or the Astros next season with MLB.com @Bat11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or go to Astros.com for details. Back to you, Brownie.
Thank you, Bart.
Now, according to Jim Callis at Baseball America, the number 1 prospect in the draft next year is Stanford right-handed pitcher Mark Appel.
Don't know.
Appel,
probably,
I guess.
Yeah.
And but he says Bobby Heck seems to have a preference for up the middle talent, and his recent drafts indicate that. Castro, Meyer, DeShields, Springer. And so he's thinking maybe Devin Marrero, a shortstop at Arizona State.
Okay.
He claims probably would have been the first shortstop drafted this year had he been eligible, but he was just a sophomore. So there you go. There's a couple of names to ponder over all winter long before next June's draft.
There'll be more names too. It's 2-2.
Yeah, there doesn't appear to be a clear number one overall like Bryce Harper or Steven Strasburg in next year's draft.
Yeah, that's what Bobby Peck said to me a couple weeks ago. Fly ball to right. Hit deep. Bogusevic watches it sail into the seats. An opposite field homer for Craig, and boy, has he shown his hitting in this series.
Well, if Albert Pujols does not return to St. Louis, they slide Lance Berkman to first base. That opens up everyday playing time for Alan Craig, and he's a good-looking young hitter. Obviously, very difficult to replace Albert Pujols, but this would still be a very good lineup, even with Albert gone.
Home run number 11 and 2-2 games for Craig.
Let me rephrase that. We still have a chance to be a very good lineup. You never know what's going to happen from one year to the next.
Now Pujols in his final shot, it would appear, at 100 runs batted in, but there may be a playoff game tomorrow which would give him additional at bats. If so, he winds up with 99 runs batted in for the season. 2 outs.
What a loser.
Phillies have a runner at first, 2 outs in the top of the 10th. Daniel Descalso up, 262 for Descalso, and he hits a shot on the ground into center field. Descalso with a single. Chris Medlin is pitching for Atlanta. He just came off the 60-day disabled list about 3 days ago. Freddie Gonzalez just really reaching into that bullpen. And the Braves have had relievers who have been used already in this game who have pitched a lot this year, and then other guys are banged up. Ryan Theriot, the batter. Here's strike one. They're going to the bottom of the 10th now as Medlin put up a 0 in the Phillies' top of the 10th inning. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Theriot came up with a big pinch 2-run triple in last night's game. And that was in the 7th inning when the Cardinals took the lead with 4 runs. They won at 13-6. They overcame a 5-0 deficit last night. Tonight they took a 5-0 lead in the first. 2 balls, 1 strike. Incidentally, Craig Kimbrell, who blew that save in the 9th inning against the Phillies, tied for the league lead in saves with 46. Ground ball. Barmas to his left with the toss to Altuve. Puts the force on Descalso. It's 1 run on the Craig homer on 2 hits and a man left. 8-0 Cardinals. Chris Carpenter heads for the mound.
On Kansas. followed by Arizona squaring off against USC. Washington will battle Utah. Then on the FX game of the week, the 17th ranked Texas Longhorns take on Iowa State, followed by UCLA looking to hand number 4 Stanford their first loss of the year. Coverage of college football Saturday begins this weekend at 11 a.m. Central in high definition. And you know, we're talking about all those guys that work on the crew. They just don't work baseball. Many of them are off around the country to do college football this weekend. There is no rest for the TV people.
There is not. They're a hard-working bunch. Bottom of the ninth now. Chris Carpenter going to work. And there's a fly ball off the bat of J.B. Shuck toward the right fielder. Schumacher underneath it. 1 out. We have changes for Tony La Russa in left field. It's Adron Chambers. And Alan Craig has moved to first base. Albert Pujols coming out of the game after going 1 for 5 with an RBI.
What a job by Carpenter tonight. Not only dominating the Astro hitters all night long, but doing so in such a way that Tony La Russa can rest his bullpen in case he has that 1-game playoff tomorrow. And Carpenter not really taxing himself, so efficient with his pitch count.
Altuve grounding, Descalzo throwing, 2 outs.
That's just 100 pitches now for Carpenter in the ball game. So if Tony wanted to bring him back a day short to pitch on Sunday, he would have that option.
The Atlanta Braves. Oh, they got a runner thrown out at the plate. That was a replay of something earlier. We just thought maybe they had done something in the bottom of the 10th, but it's still tied 3-3. Only one Astros reached second base. It's J.D. Martinez now with strike 1. It's 3-3 as the Braves bat in the bottom of the 10th with 1 out. They don't have anybody on. It's Michael Bourne batting for them right now.
I don't begrudge these Cardinal fans their moment, but it sure is weird to see everybody up on their feet cheering for Carpenter trying to finish this off.
It is.
Here at Minute Maid Park. And it's 90% Cardinal fans here tonight.
It really is. Astro fans are booing the Cardinal fans.
Fighting back a little bit.
2-1. Carpenter shooting for his 4th complete game. He would be 22-10 in the month of September, and he tosses to first to finish it. Complete game win for Chris Carpenter, and the St. Louis Cardinals win their 90th of the season, and they will now watch the scoreboard. They might be headed for the playoffs. That depends on what happens in Atlanta. At worst, they're playing off with the Braves tomorrow night. 8-0, the Cardinals win it.